Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney with Geeky Sparkles.
I am here.
She's here.
Me. Hello.
And she's going to give you a woohoo.
Woohoo.
And we're
just all over the place today.
We
wow.
are. And we're going to talk about Disney, and she's going to run this. See, it threw me off because she's going to be running this one. She knows more about this, but we're going to talk about Disneyland cast members. 99% of them voted to go on strike if they have to, and the timing is not real good for Disney.
No, and they might be using this to squeeze them. So anyway, Disneyland cast members
squeezing the juice from the orange.
Yeah, we're working opposites. Of Disney squeezing everybody else, they're squeezing Disney. So Disneyland, they have about 14,000 union members. Now they're across 4 different unions, and they started a coalition to negotiate together. Now the people at Disneyland, they have a contract that expired last June, like last month. Downtown Disney District and Disney's California Adventure, they have another group that their contract is up at the end of, I want to say August or September. I forget off the top of my head. But their contract's coming up. So they're all working together to negotiate this new contract. And Disney, they've been trying since April, and Disney, I guess, hasn't been very cooperative. And a lot of them are very, when they did, they actually did a little, like a survey with cast members that they're not paid enough. It's nearly 3 in 10 cast members report experiencing food insecurity. 64% of cast members are rent burdened. I mean, who isn't anymore? Are spending more than half of their monthly paychecks on rent. 33% of cast members experienced housing insecurity in the past year, and 42% of cast members had to miss work for medical treatment because they didn't have enough sick leave. So I know they're asking for, more money. They're asking for better, working conditions, better hours, I guess, better seniority rates, things like that. I mean, I'm sure this happens across the board, but California is especially bad right now. I mean, we all know California has gone to shit worse than it ever did before. And it's over the top ridiculous. So these people are facing a lot. Well, it looks like they're getting a lot of money in some areas of the country that might be. In California, it really isn't. So they're going to strike. And I completely back the cast members on this one. So what happens is, this does not mean they're striking right now. Okay, so Disneyland's not closing right now. They're not striking right now. What this means is, come Monday or Tuesday when they're in their next round of negotiations, if things do not go well, 99% of the union members voted to authorize a strike, to go on strike to try to get some kind of resolution to a contract. So that's what that means. It's not striking yet, but when they do strike, it's not going to be good. The problem is, Disney's banking on theme parks, because their parks and experience segment's what's keeping them afloat for all their dumbass movie and TV show decisions. And it grew 10% to $8.4 billion. And that's what's basically bankrolling a lot of things. So they really can't afford to have Disneyland shut down. Also, D23 Expo is starting in August.
Boy, that would be really awkward. Now, for those of you who have never been to Disneyland, the convention center is right across the street. Mm-hmm. They actually have an entrance from Disneyland to the convention center and go right across the street and go into the parks.
Yeah, and people come down to go. They go to the D23 event and they go to Disneyland parks.
Yeah,
they stay in the hotels.
Real awkward if they had to shut Disneyland down.
Right, and we're talking the whole way across. Like both parks and downtown Disney District are all represented by this. So you can't even go down. I mean, downtown Disney would be striking. People wouldn't be there either. So it's bad. The 14,000 employees go on strike. They're going to have a bit of a problem keeping things running. And D23 is coming up. So they kind of do have a little bit of. They have the high ground, I think, in this one.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. They're authorizing the strike. There hasn't been a strike yet, but it could be really, really bad for Disney if they go on strike.
Yeah. Well, they should just take Disneyland and just move it to another state.
That's right. Just up and move it.
They should just up and move it. Yeah. So, I mean, Disneyland doesn't make as much revenue as Disney World, but it's still a huge.
Well, D23 is in Disneyland.
Yeah.
They have everybody come in for that.
And this isn't a good look, guys, because you guys were going on about how progressive you were, but there has been a change. I don't remember there being as much discussion or as much talk about Disney workers having to go on strike before the pandemic, because back then they were cast members, they were family, and now you're just employees.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just employees now.
You're just that they're just showing you, and when they show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
So yeah, if this happens, I mean, if it does go to this point, now they're making sure they tell people, like if you're a Disney cast member, which I'm backing the cast members on this one. If you're a Disney cast member, do not go on strike until the union authorizes a strike. Because if you go on strike, you get in trouble. And they mention that here. They put if you want to follow this, you can go to Instagram for Disney Workers Rising, and they put up this statement. They say ULP strike authorization vote passes by 99%. 99.
So who are the 3 people who didn't?
I don't know. 14,000 people. So today, Disneyland Park cast members made their voices heard by voting to authorize the Disney Workers Rising Bargaining Committee to call for a strike to protest unfair labor practices by 99%. We stood up and showed Disney won't sit by and allow them to intimidate, surveil, unlawfully discipline cast members for exercising their rights. Okay, so what that's about was a bunch, 500 and some union members got written up or got in trouble or got surveilled, or however you want to say it, because they were wearing their pins, and Disney tried to say it was against, dress code. Apparently, you can have
piercings and tattoos and
nails painted if you're a dude and everything else, but you can't, wear a union pin.
This shows you who they really are.
I know.
I mean, this is what I'm like. Everybody's like, Clownfish, you're just so mean against poor Disney. They're so progressive and diverse and inclusive. I'm like, yeah, until you want to go on strike.
Right. And they already filed, against Disney for this whole unlawfully disciplining cast members thing.
Yeah.
So what does this mean? This does not mean we are on strike. Exactly. The vote simply allows us to take action if Disney continues to silence cast members and prevent us from getting the contract we deserve. A strike is always a last resort, and we have committed to return to the bargaining table Monday and Tuesday, prepared to bargain in good faith. You will always be the first to know if we are taking action. There are many ways you can stand up for our rights, and there will be opportunities to attend actions, member meetings, calls, or trainings where we can ask questions and feel confident about taking action together. And if Disney forces us to strike, we will have strike funds available to support us. Again, do not walk out until your union notifies you. If you walk out before that, you can be disciplined and or fired. So if you're a cast member listening to this, don't just, wait until you get complete authorization before you do anything. Yeah. And then they say, if you have questions, go to this link or whatever.
Yeah. Don't fight back if guests get in your face. Cause if you do, like that one girl, she got fired.
Yeah. They take so much crap and they're not allowed to say anything. And that woman was being, verbally abused. And then she finally said something back and then she got canned for it. It's just, cast members, Disney does not, I think, respect their cast members in the way they should. And the fact that the theme park ones especially, they're the ones who, when the people in the C-suite and the management decide to implement stupidity, the people on the ground are the ones that have to take the verbal lashings, the brunt of the bullshit. The people, the guests who are mad, they have to deal with it. They don't go after the people who made the rules. They go after the people they can interface with. But the people you're interfacing with are the ones who make the magic at the parks. So this is why everybody wants to go to the parks, which is what the Disney difference is. Which is why some of them probably aren't as nice as they used to be, because they're tired of taking shit.
Yeah. There's been a change for sure. I mean, there definitely has been a change.
Also, I want to say that too, if you're a guest going to Disney parks, just because you pay a lot to be there does not mean you can treat cast members like shit.
Yeah.
Well, and they get tired of it. It doesn't take anything to be kind to people. It's hot. I get it. It's stressful. I get it. It's ridiculous to try to plan your trip. I get it. But they're there to help you for the most part.
So since we're talking unions again, we talked about the Hollywood union. I'm gonna tell you what could potentially happen if Disney does agree to the terms. That means everybody gets a raise, right? Everybody has, they get more money. And Disney right now is bleeding money, and they've got some steep competition from Universal. And
because the Mario and the Super Mario and Nintendo is open in Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yes. So I'm going to reiterate, and I do believe 100%. I want to be clear before I say this. I believe 100% that Disney workers do deserve more. I think they put up with a lot. I think that California is ridiculously expensive. So comparing California living wage to even the rest of the country, it's very hard to do. I lived in California for years. My stepdad was making 6 figures in the 90s, and that wasn't even enough.
Well, I'll tell you what, too, Florida's starting to creep up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Florida used to be cheap, but so that being said, Disney not doing well. If you ask for more money, you might get what you want, but there are going to be fewer of you. I think they'll start culling people. They'll start automating tasks so they don't have to pay as many people. And they're going to jack the prices up, which means that there might be fewer guests come to the park because it's already, it's already harder to get people to go to theme parks. We see Disney World empty because people can't afford to go.
But it's really insulting, though, because it's like Disney's touting, like, oh, we had 10% increase in profits across the board.
How are they making the profit? They're juicing their customers and they're, shorting their workers on pay. That's how they're doing
They're
it.
Overseas. They're counting overseas parks in that too, which are not even fully owned by them. And then they're counting like the cruise line and stuff in and all that stuff too. But yeah, they're just, they're going to argue poverty and they're going to say that they can't pay it. But then meanwhile, they're boasting that, they have fewer people visiting the parks, but they're juicing those people to the place. They're not going to go to the parks anymore. Right. Disney's just is imploding from the inside the whole way around. And with D23 coming up, the media flocks to D23. Do you really want the media there?
When people are on strike across the street, what the frick?
So the strikers might have, the unions might have Disney on this one because they know that D23 is coming up too.
Well, that might be why they timed it this way, because they're like, oh yeah, we'll go on strike like a week before.
We'll threaten it. They're not. They're saying that they're not doing it unless they have to. Yeah. Because I think most of the cast members you talk to, they don't want to impact guests, experience either. But they do what they're going to have to do because they care about their jobs. They like Disney. That's why they work there.
So here's how two things can be true at once, and a lot of people get on us for being critical of Disney. You can like the Disney parks. You can like the stuff that Disney has made or maybe is currently making right now, and you can still admit that Disney itself as a corporation is an awful company. Mm-hmm. It can all be true. It can all be true.
So like you have to hate Disney because you don't like this and that. And I'm like, no, I like the parks.
I like the people that make the things and make
the people in charge who are making dumb decisions, and I think they need to have a change in leadership. But it is what it is. So anyway, that's what's going on with the Disneyland. That's the updated Disneyland strike situation as of now. They as of yesterday they voted to authorize if necessary.
If necessary, strike. Call in. Was it plan? Well, it's Plan 69 from outer space. You see the Tinkerbell pin with the 69.
On Wednesday was 69 years that Disneyland was open. So you was very entertained by the Tinkerbell with the 69 on it.
And she had like the smirk on her face.
I'm sure the smirk was probably intentional. But anyway,
I'm sure.
Are we going to wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up, guys. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.